Everyone. We are live, and today, as you know, is Thursday, and it's September 30th, my weekly interview. So, just a word of, some little advice, if you could, or whatever I call it. If you're joining us live, in the comments, just put hashtag live. If it's a replay, hashtag replay, and tell us where you're coming from. We love to know where people are coming from. Yes, you know, I'm from Mexico. This is where I live, and this is where I'm coming in from. And my guest is from the United States, Connecticut. We'll find out exactly where when she joins us. And as you well know, if you want to comment, please allow StreamYard to use your name, and that way you can comment. And if you just want to react or send us some hearts. We love having hearts. It makes us feel so good. So that would be the only things that I have to say. So thank you for joining us. We're pleased that you had the time and the inclination to be here. Thank you, thank you. So usually I start with what my guests and I have in common. We are in the same business. We are in what we call the knowledge business. We're in the self-education business. Now, you know, you might ask, what does that mean? Well, we're kind of competing with the traditional education business. Self-education business is a business that revolves around your knowledge, revolves around your expertise. And Forbes says that it's one of the fastest growing business today. In fact, today it's a $355 million business. And Forbes says that, or predicts that in 2025, it's going to be a $1 billion business. So we are in the right business and we love it. Now we have quite a few things in common. We have the same mentors: Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, and others. We also joined a challenge called Own Your Future Challenge, and this challenge was introducing the Project Next. Project Next program is a program that was introduced this year by Tony and Dean, mostly Dean. And it was the next step to the KBB program that I've talked several times about, still is because it's still going, the Knowledge Business Blueprint. And that started in 2019 when I first joined the program with Dean and Tony. And they wanted to make self-education the new norm. Well, self-education now has become a movement. It's almost a revolution as far as I can see. And so this year they improved on the program, and they introduced the program with a 5-day challenge called Own Your Future Challenge. That's the challenge that my guest and I were in. And so I was fortunate at that time to be one of the 200 affiliates out of the 4,000 to be privileged to promote the program. And that's how I met my guest, who joined my program with 30 other people. And we implemented the program. And now we're at our second level where we're launching. For those who finished the program next program are now starting to launch their business. And so, and the other thing that we have in common is that we call ourselves bonus moms, and we'll talk about that. We have both been featured on Shika Khanna's wonderful, famous project called 100 Dreams and 100 Self-Portraits. And we will be talking about that also. So how we met online. I've said it before. You meet the nicest people online, and I will say it again. So meet our guest today, our awesome guest, Elizabeth Lupacchino. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name properly.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
So welcome, Elizabeth. How are you?
I'm great. I am great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great today. Listen, tell the audience and where you're coming in from.
I live in Cromwell, Connecticut, USA.
Okay, great. So thank you for your time. I know how busy everybody is, so I'm honored that you're here with us. So thank
Oh.
you for being here. Now, Elizabeth, I know that you're a certified coach, you're a best-selling author, you're an entrepreneur, you're a wife, you're a bonus mom. And I would like to start this and say, who is Elizabeth Lupacchino? But I have a burning question for you. Why did you ever buy this Program Next course? The reason I'm asking is because so many people buy courses and they stay on the shelf, you know? And I've done that before. What made you buy this program called Program Next?
Well, I'm not that different from other people. I have also bought programs and maybe, worked on them for, a few days or a few weeks and then just completely lost interest. As you were saying, you and I are both in Own Your Future, and there's just something about Tony and Dean that I have not seen or heard in anybody else. Their genuineness, their real passion for caring and wanting people to succeed and to get ahead. I was blown away by it. I was blown away by all the speakers. I was just drawn into the Project Next program because it was something that I knew I needed for my next step. As you said, I have a lot of these, like certifications, and I've been doing a lot of one-on-one work with clients and with patients. And I, like you said, I'm a best-selling author, co-authored in a book, co-authored actually a few books that have become bestsellers. And I said, you know what? This is the next step. The self-knowledge, as you call it, revolution or evolution is really the way to go, because the only way really to get to reach a lot of people with the message that I have to bring them is online, is through the internet. Because there's millions and billions of people online every single day. And
I think the figure for Facebook is 2 billion a day. Outrageous number.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
that is an outrageous.
So tell me, in your career, where were you in your career that you felt that this program, getting into this Program Next, was going to serve you? Where were you in your career, so to speak?
Yeah, like a lot of people, COVID really kind of knocked, my socks off, or, knocked my wind out of me, or, whatever you want to say, because I was really working. I had a very good business working with people one-on-one. And then, when COVID hit, and I was just starting at that point too, to do some online one-on-one clients. But then because of COVID, I shut the doors and I said, okay, there's still people out there that need me. And, after going online and looking to see what else is, going on the internet, I said, this is the way to do it. This actually is the way to do it. And so I kept working with my clients on, one-on-one online. And then I said, I've got to open it up. And, so that's what I'm doing, and I'm hoping to be launching my program October 15th. So just a couple of weeks away. Yep.
Wow. So can we talk a little bit about your background? Because I think you've been. I think you spent 15 years in corporate America alone. You were even in the modeling business. I can believe that, how beautiful you are.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so can you talk a little bit, about your background?
Sure. Yes, I was definitely in corporate for, at least 15 years. And during the whole time that I was in corporate, also I want to go back a little bit. I've been very blessed to get some gifts that God has given me, that of being an empath, Also somewhat of a psychic, and and a medium. And I don't really brag about those gifts because um, people don't understand them, and they kind of have a tendency of looking at you like, you're this weird person. So I was always drawn to being able to do more for people. And while I was in the corporate world, I would still work with people. I had actually, it's quite a varied. I worked in the airlines for a number of years, actually, in their security, national and international security departments for many, many years. And actually, what's ironic is my intuitive ability actually came in handy for for what I was doing, and for the international traveling that I was doing too. So that really helped a lot. And it was always part of me, always part of what I wanted to do and where I saw myself going next, was being able to use, these gifts to help people more. And yes, I did do some modeling and did some acting as well. And there was always just this burning desire to do more and to be able to give more to people. So then I did go full time into my coaching business after that. I started a little bit um, part time, piece by piece, and then eventually I said, "That's it." Cut the corporate ties and went into it full time.
Yeah. Well, I'm very curious about the security of the airlines. Did they appreciate that gift of yours? Did they recognize it? Did they?
They didn't. I didn't tell them how I was used or what I was using to achieve the results that I was getting.
Okay.
So they definitely appreciated the outcome, but
Yeah, the
I
results. Mhm.
yeah, I didn't tell them how I was doing it.
You didn't call yourself an empath, right? Or
No, no, no. Because back then too, quite honestly, I was in a lot of situations, a lot of um, security meetings with heads of states, and as well as heads of different security divisions of the government. Most of the time, I was the only woman. So, if I was going to say, yeah, not only am I the token woman in this room, but
right.
I'm an empath, get the door, show her the way out.
Absolutely. Too woo woo for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so I heard you say that you wanted to do coaching full time. I also know, however, that you have been trained in NLP. Now, every time I think of that, I think of Tony Robbins and how he used it to his advantage. Did he influence you in any way, or is that part of coaching that a lot of people get into because it serves them well as a modality? Or can you tell us a little bit why that
Sure.
was important to you?
Yeah. Actually, I have been doing what I'm doing for, I hate to say it, but 30 years. So, like they say, only her hairdresser knows for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
hide the evidence.
Yeah.
So I became certified, actually an advanced neurolinguistic NLP practitioner, 30 years ago, as well as an internationally certified hypnotherapist, as well as a Reiki master healer. So I took all of these different courses really at the same time,
Right.
and what it did is it helped me in my business. So as we were taking Project Next and Own Your Future Challenge, I was really impressed to hear and to see how much Tony does use NLP. And it just kind of, I got a kick out of it because I was like, I know what he's doing, I know what
Uh-huh,
he's saying,
uh-huh, uh-huh,
and
uh-huh.
I can relate to this. I know how he's doing this. And so it helped that not only can you use NLP in, helping people resolve unresolved issues,
Mm-hmm.
you could also use it in business.
Right.
And I never really thought of that.
So at what point did you take this training? Did you take it specifically because you knew you were getting into coaching, or it was just,
The Project Next training,
no,
or
I'm sorry, the NLP training.
NLP. NLP was when I took the hypnotherapy training. The NLP came along with the hypnotherapy, because even in hypnosis you use NLP quite a bit with people. So I was very lucky that the instructor that I had realized the importance of NLP and had us take both of them at the same time.
That's good. You know, we throw this NLP around a lot. Can you, it's neuro-linguistic practice. It's a practice, right? Can you explain in your own words what that is for people?
Sure,
And
absolutely.
and
And,
how
and
and how you saw Tony use it,
uh,
at least once.
oh my goodness. Sure. It's actually it's NLP is neurolinguistic programming, and I like the word practice because when people hear the word programming, immediately they think, "Oh my God, what are you doing to my brain?" You know, you're getting into my brain and you're programming. No, what it is really is a use of words and how the words affect what you're doing. A couple of examples that I love to use is we all have heard the expression, "Don't picture a pink elephant."
Right.
Well, the first thing you do, is you
Sure.
picture the pink elephant. And because the catch in that phrase is the word don't.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind does not know how to process negatives. It doesn't know how to process the word don't. So even with children, and this is how where NLP and what Tony does comes in handy,
Mm-hmm.
is like with children, if you say to them, don't cross the street, and you see the child immediately start to cross the street, and you grab them, you yell at them, you hit them or whatever, you slap their little wrist and say, "I told you don't cross the street." And their immediate reaction is, what they hear is cross the street.
Interesting.
So what you do is you paraphrase it, and this is where NLP comes in. You paraphrase it and you turn it around and you say, "Stay on this side of the street." You don't use the word don't. The same thing if people are trying to diet,
Right.
don't eat in between meals or don't eat that chocolate bar. Well, what they're hearing is eat in between meals and eat that chocolate bar. So again, you paraphrase it, you turn it around and say, make a healthier choice, instead of a dessert. Drink water in between meals. You do something. And so that's what Tony and Dean actually were both doing during all of their trainings is how they would, do, what we call, the hook of the story to bring people in, because they know how to use that to get people's attention and to, pique that interest.
My God, this is something they should teach in schools. Oh my God, this is so important. It makes me want to take a course.
Yeah.
It does. Because as you were talking to me and telling me about this and explaining, how it works, I was thinking, when they train dogs, they never use negatives. They say, wait, stop, cross.
Yeah.
You never hear them use negatives. Yeah, that's so interesting. I'm fascinated by that. I'm fascinated. So here's a question for you. When did you realize that you were an empath? And can you explain that word, because people throw that word around too, and maybe you could explain what that empath
Mhm.
word means. Mm-hmm.
Sure. The word empath, everybody actually has the ability to be an empath. That's where the term empathy comes from. And a lot of times those two words get used interchangeably. But an empath, from, let's say, the strict sense, is someone who is, I would say, overly sensitive to other people's energies.
Okay.
For instance, if you walk into a room and the energy either feels really good or really bad,
Mhm.
um, you're picking up on it. Now, I've known this my whole life, that I am sensitive and empath to the energy. And sometimes I'll be with other people and we'll drive by a house,
Mhm.
and I immediately start to feel like this, whoa, get me out of here
Yeah.
feeling. And I'll mention it to somebody else in the car. I'll say, did you just feel the energy coming from that house? And they're like, what house?
What else?
Yeah,
Forget it.
never mind. So it's really, and how that actually is a good tool is because, well, several things. Being an empath and being able to pick up on, let's call it, the negative energy,
Mhm.
then that can protect you and keep you out of getting into different situations or being with different people.
Right.
The other side of it is, being an empath, is that when you're working with clients, you can pick up on the energy and pick up more on what they're going through, so that you can really um, zero in on what they need because of the energy that you're picking up on.
Right. So you really, as you're speaking, I think my younger sister is an empath because she was that type of, she was almost psychic. I remember her talking about seeing my father's death before my father actually died, seeing the room, the green room he was in. And yes,
Aw.
the room was green. So it's like, you just in the family, you just don't realize. You just think, oh, Patsy, you're too sensitive. You tend to make light of it. But it's such a wonderful kind of um, faculty.
Mhm.
That,
Yeah, and like you said, Patsy, you're too sensitive. I got that my whole life,
on your whole life.
and it was really meant as an insult. Basically, stop being so sensitive.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it took me years before I finally appreciated that that was a compliment, because somebody thinking that I'm too sensitive actually means I'm doing my job. That's who
Yeah,
I am. And they're recognizing that that's who I am. And if they don't like it, then obviously I must be triggering something in them that they don't want triggered.
exactly, exactly. That's really very interesting. Now you joined the launch. It was the implementation lab. You know, when you bought it, that came when you bought the project next with our link because I was the affiliate, and so why did you choose us over
Well,
what is it
Lucy,
that we were
how much
offering that spoke to
how much time do you have?
you? You're
There's
so sweet.
many reasons why. Many reasons why. It just, first of all, it felt right. And honestly, I did. I gave it some thought,
Hmm.
because again, I've done so many programs, so many different groups, but the camaraderie and the guidance that you and Mike and Eden and Debbie and Athena, that you all gave all of us, was something that you can't compare, because it also it also mirrored what Dean was
Yeah,
doing on a global level, and you all were doing it on this wonderful small intimate group level, so that you actually were I felt you all were holding my hand and giving me that individual guidance and the guidance that I needed to stay on track.
Absolutely, and that was the point. And Dean kept saying, you know, mirror us, copy us, do what we're doing, and that's exactly what we did. But we had been through the KBB program. We knew how much hand holding those programs needed, and so and the support. So thank you. Would you recommend the program to anybody else?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And any time that I get, people ask, well, ask me, how did you get involved in it? How did you? And I'll tell them, it's these are the programs, and I do, and I talk to them too about all of you folks, and how all of you have just kept the momentum going, because even Dean said it at the end. He said that don't let the momentum die now. Don't
Right.
put this on the shelf. Don't. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I can totally see me
Mhm.
putting it on the shelf unless there's some kind of momentum to keep me going. And that's what you all did.
Right.
You kept me going.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to talk about your coaching a little bit, because now you're a full-fledged coach, as I understand. You actually retired from corporate America, all those other careers, right? That's all behind you, right? As I'm understanding. So now you're going into full-time coaching. You're very much into forgiveness.
Mhm.
Can you tell me why a simple act of forgiveness can improve your health? Because that came from you.
Mhm. Uh-oh, you're throwing my words back at me. Um,
It's very curious that a simple act of forgiveness can improve your health. That's a big statement.
yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Absolutely, Lucy, because what we don't realize is that if something happened to us in our past, it could have been last week, it
Hmm.
could have been when we were a child. Unless we forgive that event or that person, we continue to carry with us a connection to that event.
Right.
And it actually freezes us in time and keeps us there so that we don't proceed into the future and we don't really live in the present. We continually stay in the past.
Mm.
And what I want to stress with forgiveness or forgiving someone or something is you're not condoning what happened. You're not, and I'm not saying, well, too bad that it happened. Not in the least bit. What I'm saying is you are giving yourself the gift. You get the gift
Right.
of letting go and proceeding with your life.
Yeah.
Example we've all had is road rage. If you're,
That's for
yeah, especially
today.
California.
Oh my God. I know. I lived there for 35 years. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
those drivers are crazy. So, somebody cuts you off
Hmm.
and you get all upset and you're like, "Brrr," the person in front of you, and they're just going on their merry way. They don't care. No, they're having a great old day.
That's
And
right.
meanwhile, you carry that with you the rest of the day, whether you're going into work or you're going home. All you do the rest of the day is complain about this person who cut you. Exactly. And you complain about this person who cut you off.
Right. Exactly.
Now, how many conversations did you miss out on that day because you were focused on not forgiving that person?
Right.
How many wonderful signs from God or the universe did you miss outside? Beautiful flowers or trees or the sky and the clouds because you were so focused on this person that cut you off. And what happens is the adrenaline keeps flowing. You're in a flight or fight mode
Hmm.
because your stress level is going up.
Hmm.
So it's affecting everything. It's affecting your lungs. It's affecting your heart, your kidneys, your liver, digestive. It's affecting everything. So if you're holding on to all of this, you are literally doing your body harm. Never mind mentally and emotionally.
Absolutely. You know, it reminds me, forgive, forgiveness for me is a big, is a big thing in my life because I came into the Course of Miracles, I think in the mid 90s or something. And of course, the big message there is forgiveness. And I realized that I came into this world so I could be the forgiving one because my mother was so unforgiving her whole
Mhm.
life. And I thought, you know, that's my role. And people have said to me, you never hold you never hold anything against people. No, I get it out. You know, it's like because I know what it can do because I saw it in my mother. And I never wanted, I just so wanted her to be forgiving because so many things happen in the family that just almost ruined her life. You know, I could see it was destroying her, you know, and you know, everything you say is so true. I mean, it affects you to the very cellular, you know, to every cell in your body. So I know that, and I've seen it, and I saw what I did to my mother, and I just, for me, it was such a good thing for me to, you know, to come in touch with this course because then I could understand what forgiveness really meant. It's just as you explained. You're not excusing the action of the person. You're just really letting it go from your life.
Mhm.
You know, you're releasing yourself. You're letting it go. You know.
Exactly. And I want to acknowledge you for breaking that chain.
Hmm.
You know, you could have very easily continued along the same lines as your
Yeah,
mother, but you
absolutely.
chose not to.
I chose not to, right? I chose
Mhm.
nothing. Something in me knowing that that was, you know, a big negative, that it was one of the worst things that you could hold on to.
Mm.
So anyway, so you are one busy person. Tell me, you know, how did actually COVID was a help in your life when COVID came along because it made you. It was the thing that pivoted you right into what you're doing full time right now. Yeah, tell me. So I know how busy you are because you're involved in a special project right now that I'd like to talk about, which is Shika Kana's 100 Dreams and 100 Self Portraits. And I know that you're involved at a different level than I am because I was just interviewed, you know, by her just recently as a stepmom. And then here came the what's a stepmom, and you and I had the discussion, and we decided to be called bonus moms instead. So could you tell us about what you're helping Shika to do with that project and what the project is all about?
Sure. The project is, I think, honestly, a miracle. Shika
Absolutely.
is a visionary.
Hmm.
She has this dream that women, moms especially, contribute so much to the world, so much. And the women have gone unrecognized. These moms have gone unrecognized. And she's somehow, again, like I said, she's a visionary. She has also special gifts that she's picking and choosing all these beautiful moms to tell their inspirational and transforming stories about them, about their journeys, not only their own individual journeys, but also their journeys as being a mom.
Hmm.
And yes, when I was talking to Shika, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just an incredible uh, journey. It's an incredible book that people whether you're a mom or not, are just going to benefit from, and literally all over the world, from all
Absolutely.
over so many different countries. She's got so many people from different countries that she's interviewing. And so I told her, I said, I'm a bonus mom. I told her I'm a stepmom. Does that, qualify as being a mother? And she said, absolutely. She goes, absolutely. You're a mom. And she also interviewed me, and we were talking about it. And and then like you, that's what I said to her. I said, but what is a stepmom? What, you step up, step down? What is this stepmom?
Right.
I said, and when I met my husband, we just married a year. So let's see, anybody reading the book, we were married in 2020, year of COVID. Um,
Congratulations.
one of the things he said to me is, I want you to know that I have a grown daughter with special needs, mentally and physically disabled. And I said, okay, what's your point? I think that he just wanted to make sure. And so I told him from day one, I said, we're dating with me with eyes wide open. I know this is what you have, who she is. And she's a blessing. She is such a sweetheart, the most giving and loving young woman that you could really ever imagine. And so I was talking to Shika about it. She said, absolutely. And so, yes. And then as we were talking, during my interview, I happened to mention to Shika too that I've co-authored 5 books, and 3 have been international bestsellers on Amazon. And you know,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't, I was going to mention that next. Thank you.
that's my latest.
That's
Shameful,
great.
shameful. Um, and so because of that, she asked if I would help with the editing of people's stories. And to me, it's such a blessing because I get to read all these wonderful stories of what these women are doing, and it's just so inspiring. It's like, it's like I'm getting a sneak preview of what the book is going to be about, and it's just wonderful.
Yeah, and you gave me the incentive to, I was going to be a cheerleader for the group, and you gave me the incentive of stepping up and saying, you know what, I'm a stepmom too, and because I didn't think I fit the bill, because I never had any children of my own, and you know, my mother, I loved my mother. I was my mother's favorite, actually. My mother always called me her right arm. And I saw my mother, there were 7 kids, and I saw it. I saw that it was a 24/7 job. And I thought, I don't want that. That's not, that influenced my decision not to have children, and other reasons also. But I, so I was also in the relationship for 8 years. We lived together, and my ex-husband had 4 children, and his ex-wife took the kids away. We lived in
Mm.
California. She took them to Arizona. He was devastated, but she also got into drugs and there with a younger man, and one of his daughters had an aneurysm, and she had to learn to talk again, to walk again, and he was very instrumental. He was such a good dad. He loved her so much. He was so patient with her. I just loved the way he was. Well, she died of hepatitis in the hospital.
Oh.
So we flew. He was taking the other kids away. We flew right to Denver, Colorado, and because she ended up in the hospital there for hepatitis, and the idea was he was going to remove the other 2 kids from her because she was into drugs and with this younger man. And how did she get the hepatitis? And died from it. So I became a stepmom overnight to a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. And
Mm.
there I was, a full-time teacher and in a Jesuit high school, college prep school, and I was studying for my master's degree.
Mm.
And I remember Jim said, this is what I'm going to do. I know that you never wanted children, but you deal with children all day long. You're free to go. I mean, really. And I'm going, okay, well, I love this man. So I mean, it's like, you know, it's, you have to make the decision overnight. And so I said, okay. And then I was a disciplinarian, and they came from a family whose mother said, oh, you want to eat? Okay, eat. You don't want to brush your teeth? Okay.
Mhm.
Like, totally different than what I grew up with. So there was a little friction. All I could do is say, look, I'm not your mother, but all I can do is care for you, love you, and you know, and I think mothers are saints. To me, mothers are saints. And so I had the experience. Today, we're good friends. In fact, Greg, the oldest, one of the oldest sons, whose mom died finally last year, sent me a Mother's Day card and flowers and said, Happy Mother's Day, Mom. And so that,
Oh.
so, I know what it's a different experience. Let me tell you, it's a totally different experience being a mom with your blood. So, but a mom is a mom. I did
Mhm.
have to give up my master's degree because I couldn't do it all.
Oh.
But that was okay. That was okay. That was okay. That's perfectly okay. Perfectly okay. Didn't what was important is what I did. So, so tell me, Elizabeth. Let's talk a little bit about your book, because you're helping Chika with her book. But like you said, you're an author of 3 books. Your latest one is Unlearning. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, it's a wonderful book. Again, the really the main authors are Divya and Lisa Marie, and um, I'm one of, as I forget how many other co-authors, and we've each one have um, written our own little chapters about what we what happened in our life. Again, it's things that happened in our lives and where we have come out and been victorious, and just been made us who we are today. And my chapter, spoiler alert, um, is really about, again, different things that happened to me, growing up and as a young adult. Um, some things that happened when I was in college, and then I did was married twice
Mhm.
and divorced, and abusive marriages and other situations. And again, we're talking about forgiveness, and it's how I was able to forgive all those events in my life, because
Mhm.
if I didn't,
Right.
I never would have met my husband today. And it's just miraculous, like how we met. And he's a beautiful person, very supportive of me, and very accepting of me, and, as you call it, my woo woo gifts. He doesn't understand it, but
Yeah.
he accepts it and
Yeah.
supports me in everything that I've been doing. And so it just, shows how what I went through, and what these other wonderful, wonderful women, authors, what they went through too, how it's propelled them into the people that, we are today. And there's that thread, that unknown to all of us,
Right.
there's that common thread through all the stories of forgiveness,
Right.
and unlearning, and bringing us into our wonderful presents or futures of today.
That's great. I look forward to reading that then. So you're really a collaborator in the true sense of the word. I mean, you like to collaborate book with other people in your field, and writing 3 books that way is awesome. And I love that women are doing that, and I'm sure men are doing that too, because the Chicken Soul, whatever the name of that book is, that was a
Right.
collaboration of 2 guys. Chicken Soup for the Soul.
There
And
you
then
go.
many other books came out of that. That was a collaboration of those 2 guys. I mean, unbelievable books. So I'm hoping that you guys are as successful as they were, and why not? And why not? So let me tell you, what's next for you, Elizabeth? Tell me what's next for you. I mean, I know that you're busy. You're a busy woman. You're doing all this. You want to launch your coaching program. Obviously, you're launching on October 15th. You mentioned that date. All right. So after you launch, what's going to happen? What's going to be next for you? I
Okay.
know you had that dream.
I do. It's we're it's sometimes I say, what's your 3-year, 5-year, 10-year goal, or whatever. It's just I just keep the time frame open, and I'm just going, and it's um my I guess what I say my near future goal is I want to get the program up and running on mastermind.com, and do other coaching with forgiveness and transformation on the internet, and hopefully soon, with COVID gone, I hope do more group sessions, and just show people that again, with forgiveness, you have to forgive yourself too.
Right.
Forgive yourself for missing an opportunity a few years ago. Forgive yourself for if you think you may have wronged somebody or hurt somebody. You got to forgive yourself first, and get people to realize that that act of forgiveness is really what's going to give you what you want, and propel you into becoming the person that you're supposed to be, so that you can become the goals that you want. And and with all of that, my other secret little passion that people really don't know about, so I'm saying it here now, is that someday I really want to do some kind of animal sanctuary.
Okay.
There's been so many abused animals, dogs and cats, and I just see it all the time on the internet, and my heart just breaks for these animals that I want to be able to have some kind of, open big sanctuary where these dogs that are, abused or unadoptable for or some reason can have a nice, safe place to go.
Oh my God. That's such a beautiful dream and so needed. I mean, they're just, it's so needed. So thank you for that wonderful dream. And I know it's going to come true. So I heard that you are going to be posting on mastermind.com your
Mhm.
course. Is it a course? Is it a program? Does it have a name that you can share with us?
Yeah, the title is Forgiveness, the Missing Link to a Healthier You.
Oh, wonderful.
And
Forgiveness, the
yep,
missing link to a wonderful you.
to a
Wonderful.
healthier you.
Oh, healthy you. Well, that'll make you wonderful
Yeah,
if you're healthy. Great.
it will. And then maybe I'll put that in parentheses, healthier, parentheses, wonderful.
Wonderful you.
And I'll give you the credit.
Thank you. Thank you. Elizabeth, I just want to thank you so much for being with us today. I hope I haven't missed anything. If there's anything that you want to interject here, please do so at this time. I know that, I like to keep these interviews not too long. So I want to thank you for your presence. Always, it's an honor that you were able to take this time to be with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I wish you the best. And I will be following you. So we will be, rooting and supporting one another for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this has just a little aside. I just want to mention, and for those people who are watching, this was not planned, but if you notice our colors,
I know.
we blend.
I know. Yeah, you're right.
Good
Okay.
choice.
Thank you. Good choice for you too. Okay, everyone. Thank you for being here. As always, as you know, next week we'll have another awesome guest, and join us then, 2:00 Eastern Daylight Time. And thank you, Elizabeth, one more time, and thank you everybody for joining us today. Bye for now.
Thank you, Lucy. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.